fire for what's being called a racist comment about the ethnic heritage of his opponent, Congresswoman Tammy Duckworth. During a televised debate last night, Duckworth, who is leading in several polls, told the audience her history of military service is one of the reasons why she's running for Senate.
My family has served this nation in uniform going back to the Revolution. I'm a daughter of the American Revolution. I've bled for this nation. But I still want to be there in the Senate when the drums of war sound, because people are quick to sound the drums of war, and I want to be there to say, this is what it costs, this is what you're asking us to do, and if that's the case, I'll go. Families like mine are the ones that bleed first.
Came all the way from
and
Thailand.
Senator Kirk responded this way.
I had forgotten that your parents came all the way from Thailand to serve George Washington.
Move on to the next question. This is Bernie Schoenberg. Now your chance.
Well, Duckworth later tweeted a family photo with her father's service medals prominently on display. She wrote, "My mom is an immigrant and my dad and his family have served this nation in uniform since the Revolution." She actually can trace her family lineage to the Revolution. Joining me now, Democratic Congresswoman Karen Bass of California. I just want to get your reaction again. This is a tight race. Hillary Clinton has referenced Tammy Duckworth. She's had a heavy campaign season, but this is one of the places where at least the Senate could change in the direction of your party. What are your thoughts on what happened there?
Well, I think his comment was absolutely despicable, because in essence he was saying a woman of color really couldn't have been a daughter of the Revolution. And I do have to say, though, that this is not the first time that Senator Kirk has made such inappropriate comments. You know, he also commented about the African-American community, that he hoped one day it would be safe enough so you didn't have to drive through the community real quick. So I think he has displayed his insensitivity on several times, and this was probably the worst example of that.
Kirk, also, he did serve in the Navy Reserves as well. That's his military background, and we're pointing that out. But he does serve as an interesting model, if you will, for Republicans, Congresswoman. He was one of the first to say he would not support Donald Trump's candidacy. Obviously, in Illinois, that would be a popular message for Republicans who have been on the fence for a very long time with the candidate. But on the opposite end of that, you have Congressman Jason Chaffetz, who said he wouldn't endorse Donald Trump, then came back a few days ago and said, I'll vote for him, but I won't endorse him, which no one knows what that means when you publicly say you're going to vote, but you don't endorse. It presents this ongoing problem that Democrats have tried to seize on, whether they're in the House or in the Senate. Republicans have a problem here.
That many of them are trying to have it both ways. The reality is their party chose Donald Trump, and they have to live with that. And to say that, you know, I supported him at one point, I don't at another, you know, Jason was very strong in saying that he wouldn't vote for him, and now at the last minute he wants it both ways. But I do have to tell you that over this campaign season, a lot of the comments that Donald Trump have made, we hear in the House all the time. I think the problem is that now it's been exposed to the entire nation.
What do you mean by that, that you hear some of these comments that Donald Trump made?
Let me give you a very specific example, the anti-immigrant comment. You know, you are familiar with the comment that Representative King made, who he talked about Mexicans coming across the border have calves the size of cantaloupes because they're drug dealers. The way immigrants have been painted, the way inner city communities have been painted, the way Muslims have been painted. These are comments that we hear in the House all the time. I think Donald Trump has just put them on national display so that people can see how egregious these comments are. But, you know, the choice in this election is just so clear, and I really have faith in the American people that we are not going to dial the clock back, but we're going to move forward in our country.
Looking at the early voting numbers here, it appears that in the battleground states, it's neck and neck with the voter turnout. We don't know how those people voted. These are the folks who are registered to the party. Nevertheless, there's this huge and heavy push to get the vote out early for Democrats. Is that right? Because there is a worry that more WikiLeaks stolen emails could have an impact with just these 11 days left?
No, actually, I don't think that's the primary concern at all. I mean, I think it's absolutely critical that Democrats not be complacent. Obviously, I like what I'm seeing in the polls, but we have to be very, very careful that we turn out our vote. But then also, there's the concern over the voter suppression. I mean, we know what's going on in a lot of these states. You literally had Donald Trump, you know, call for, I would call them vigilantes. I mean, you know what happens in those polls in Philadelphia. I mean, he named off cities. He named off cities with high minority populations that was essentially calling on his supporters to go and make sure that there's no fraud going on. So I think with all of the various voter suppression techniques that can be pulled in this election, that's why it is so very critical that we go out and that we vote in large numbers, and we vote as early as possible.
Congresswoman Karen Bass, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.